Hello, everyone, and welcome to our next installment of our Heaven and Earth Advanced Longevity Treatment with Herbs Super Tutorial Series. My name is David Akrish. I'm the co-founder of Heaven and Earth Chinese Medicine Healing Center. We're going to be talking about hip dysplasia with humans, and we did a tutorial on hip dysplasia with dogs. If you haven't seen that, please look at it. We are actually going to repeat some of the same information during this series and this PowerPoint series. And so if you look at that one, you're going to get some of the same information, same ideas. And to be honest, a lot of the same ideas, almost all of them transfer over from human to our little dog companions. So that's a very interesting point with Chinese herbal medicine and Chinese medicine in general, that the dog population kind of works the same as the human population when we give formulas and look at different treatments and look at Chinese medicine patterns. So if you need to get a hold of us, all of our information is obviously right in front of you here on this slide. And we also are currently offering a free consult service. So if you need to have us take a look at your just to put the service into action and move forward, we will let you know what it's all about. I almost let it out of the bag there, but I think it's better if you just contact us and we can send you all the information, and we'd love to talk with you. Or if you have a dog with hip dysplasia, we're also going to be able to talk to you about that too and show you different formulas. And you can also find out about those different formulas on our other PowerPoint slide series, which is about an hour long. So there's a lot of information there that you can look at, but we hope you stay on this one, check it out, and let's move on. This is me and my wife Tia Akrish and our little dog Leia. Hope you enjoy the picture. As we always say with these series, there's an incredible amount of information on Chinese that we're putting out on Chinese medicine, especially Chinese herbal medicine, because that's what we specialize in. And we're going to be doing a lot of different videos. I already have them set up, and they're all going to be in this PowerPoint slide type series to be able to have the information in front of you instead of just talking about it. So you can stop the video and look at it and read about it and go back and look at it over and over. And what we say is there's so much to understand and to learn, and especially if you're new to Chinese medicine, that it just takes kind of a bit of time to really change your point of view and really understand where we are coming from, and not just us, of course, but thousands and thousands of years of looking at thousands, which is interesting. It's a long time, not just a couple hundred years, America or the United States is almost 300 years old, but think of thousands of years old of this medicine that I call the actual scientifically advanced herbal formulas. I used to talk about it in a different way, but they're so advanced in the understanding and how it applies to the human body that it's not something that's just old or kind of a throwback. This is way ahead of its time. It's still ahead of its time. And so, and then we're going to be talking about here, like in one of our videos that's coming up, which is kind of going to put the horse right now. I'm putting the cart before the horse, but it doesn't matter with the foundation. So with the foundation of Chinese medicine video, you'll learn about it, but you're going to learn about it in each one of these series. We can't help it, because to talk about how the body works and how to give different formulas and a different view and a point of view, you're going to have to just learn about it's learning a different way of seeing a different type of medicine. But it's not really the medicine, it's the mapping of the body and a completely different understanding on how it works. It's not just how it works for certain people or for this certain where it came from, its foundation in China, but it works for everybody. And a big problem these days is people who come to us, they're not getting anywhere. They go to a lot of people, they have a lot of problems, and nothing ever works for them. So it all comes down to the diagnostics, and diagnostics comes down to the foundation, philosophy, and methodology of a certain idea in a certain way, and this way that we're doing. And is working just fantastic. It's actually really coming out of the woodwork for not just what's for the world is Chinese medicine. So we are here to help promote and bring those ideas forward. But what I'm saying here on this slide is to go back, take your time, learn about it, become your own, I'll say medical person within yourself. I won't use the D word. And we'll always be available to help you out. That's our business foundation is based on helping people and giving information. So not to hide it, but to bring it forward. We're all about clarity and bringing things to the forefront. That's our business. That's our business foundation. And so anyways, let's move on to the next slide. So the idea here is, if it's not obvious already, is not really to talk about the biomedical view of hip dysplasia. And if you want to learn about that, there's plenty of it on. I mean, you can go crazy on researching and talking to your doctor and talking to a surgeon, different people. So we're going to review it because we need to review sort of what it is. What we really need to do here, or what we're going to do, is go into the Chinese medicine view of the body, and we can just pick a certain area, which are the hips, and we'll be talking about the kidney organ systems and different formulas. And so that's really what this is all about, and that's what all our videos are going to be all about. All the information that we're going to be putting out is all about. So this is a new YouTube channel, but we're not new. We've been doing this for a very long time. In fact, 20 years as a business, and double that plus for me as a person, and even further back than that. So but to bring it, we finally are able to bring this forward and create these videos and put the information out. And so we're kind of new to that. We're not new to talking about it. We're not new to talking to people and explaining, but this is a new channel, but we're old. We're old in not as people, well, we are kind of, but we're more old as in knowing this knowledge and offering it. And so this whole, this video and all of them are going to be really about bridging and tying together the ideas from the biomedical view. What is Chinese medicine? You can look at part 2, and then part 3 is the formulas. And you can read about the rest of this here, that you can take formulas at any age, at any stage, to help. You don't have to be real sick to take a formula. You don't have to wait to the very end to come see a Chinese herbalist or look into Chinese herbal formulas to affect your life. In fact, you should be taking it before you get sick. But that's called preventive medicine. But that's a whole nother story. So right now let's see how far we can get into this with the view of hip dysplasia and really tying it to Chinese medicine as an overall view of our health. So what I'm really talking about here is that what we see all the time is, as a general rule, I have written here, is that the kidney organ system runs hot. Now, it's not supposed to run hot. It's your actually cooling system, and it's supposed to be the ice cold, represented like the ice cold depth of the ocean. And so if that's what it's supposed to be, if it's running hot or too hot, that's a problem. And then we run into all kinds of different health problems based around that. So you can look down here where I have UTIs or ear problems, insomnia. This is all based on having too much heat, based on the imbalancement of not enough cooling. So think of your car. If your car's cooling system, people don't think about their cooling system on the car until it blows up on them, that it is essential because that engine is hot, so it has to run at a certain degree for it to run appropriately and function appropriately. Our bodies are exactly the same way. So when they run too hot, you have internal inflammation, infection, affects emotion, sleep. I have your gum and teeth infection. So all kinds of other problems can occur along with the hip dysplasia. So that's what we're talking about on this slide. So here we're talking about the biomedical view of hip dysplasia, and honestly, it can go pretty far. You can talk about the joint, the bone, being out of place, being born. I mean, again, this is something that you can, if you have it, you already understand what it's about. If you don't, but you're learning about it, you're learning for a friend or a loved one, there's plenty of information that you can look up and research on your own. And I just wanted to be able to offer some on because that's what we're talking about here, but not to spend a lot of time on it. So we and here I'm saying to understand what's occurring, we must first determine the Chinese medicine pattern before creating a formula strategy. So again, that's very important to look at, not the different variances in the hip dysplasia, which is important, but moreover, what's going on in the overall body and what formulas and what mixtures to put together. So I'll give an example. Is it could be what we call yin deficiency. Okay, that's just a real common term. You can hear it all over the place. Acupuncturists, herbalists, different people studying this type of medicine. And it's, again, I guess you could say it's kind of fluid or cooling system gone awry. And that is an easy way and a short way to say something that's very complicated, to put it back in order. And so it could be that, but let me give you another example. It could be what we call blood deficiency. So your blood, and this is a different way to look at it. So don't think of the only way that you're going to see the doctor and how they might look at the blood or the red blood cells, but this is a wider view. And so it'd be better just to look at the name blood deficiency or the label, and then look what goes along with it. And we'll be going over that a bit into this tutorial. So here, again, different ideas that lead to the biomedical causes of hip dysplasia. And you can read about those. One of the main ones that I look at is the tendon and ligament health issues. Now, I was just mentioning about blood deficiency. That would be a direct correlation to tendon and ligament health. So try to tie those together in your mind, and you'll be moving forward into the Chinese medicine understanding. To continue with the blood deficiency Chinese medicine pattern that I've been talking about, that's what I look at when I look at this last picture of the severe hip dysplasia. It's not just bones rubbing or joints out of place, or I mean it is, but it's why is it? So, and that has a lot to do with ligament and tendon development. This is a very it's a different idea, sort of. I mean, people think, well, this is just what I have. I deal with it, and this is what, life, I was born, and this is what life gives me. But that is not our point of view, that you can actually take formulas and change tendon and ligament strength, health. And so if you look at how it's in this last one, again, where it says severe hip dysplasia, where it looks like the bones are being pulled away and flopped out, that might be something to consider, and that is what I definitely consider when I think of my point of view on Chinese medicine and looking at this problem. So again, this is maybe one of the last slides on hip dysplasia for humans, because we've done it for dogs, and it's about the same thing. And this is something you can just look at. Again, you can look up on your own. And so I don't want to sound too obvious that I want to move on to the Chinese medicine part, but I do. And if you have it, you already know, you've already been diagnosed. If you don't have it, or something's going on with the hips, you can look at these different problems and health issues and see if it's tied in. So, that's what we can do with this slide. And again, here I am reinforcing the association of inflammation that can be many times based around the biomedical diagnosis of hip dysplasia, along with other diagnoses such as tears, or again, infections. And let's look at the tear. So when we talk about tears, that could be weakness, again, in ligament and tendons. Again, blood deficiency. That can go all the way to digestion problems, digestion weakness. And then infections, of course, is heat. Arthritis could be a fluid mismatch. And so you go all over the place. So and you should go all over the place and review your own, what we call daily disharmonies, which are different problems that you would have, not just with the hips, but with other associated Chinese medicine patterns. Again, if you haven't looked at our other hip dysplasia with the dogs, then we're going to go over it here. So we're going to go over the same information. We're going to go over it all the time, because that is how we learn Chinese medicine, is by looking at just daily, what we call daily disharmony health issues. And you tie those, because they're giving you answers. You may not know it, but it gives you the answer to internal problems. It's like looking at a leaf on a tree and knowing what's going on with the roots and with the nutrients within the soil. That's how it works. Okay, so we've entered part 2. I hope you're still with us. And we're going into the Chinese medicine phase and Chinese herbal medicine phase. And there's different terms that we use a lot. And one of them is the 5 internal organ systems. So in one of them I already talked about is the kidneys, and then Chinese medicine patterns, and we'll get into that here in a moment. And one of the patterns that I've been talking about is, if you look down at near the bottom, the 4th paragraph down, kidney yin deficiency, and a deeper level of that, not in a good way, is with deficiency fire. So we're talking about heat because there's the imbalance of cooling, and I talked about earlier just a little while ago. And so and then also that, and I've been saying the same thing here, is the hips and the kidneys are, well, if you don't know, the hips and the kidneys kind of in the same place. So, and there is a direct correlation and effect of kidney problems based on Chinese medicine view and hip dysplasia. So, as I was saying, that when kidney yin deficiency goes, I guess you could say, unchecked for a long time or long term, it can, not that it always does, but it usually does, become at a deeper level. So we're going to say kidney yin deficiency with even more deeper problems, like, let's say, severe infections of the teeth, okay, or even further, of the bone, or other types of ideas like that, that are chronic, wounds that are not healing, and even more severe insomnia, constipation, vascular disease. So, and then so that's with what we call deficiency heat or deficiency fire added. And then there's other problems that start connecting to that, which I was saying was blood deficiency. So I have here in the middle, kidney, at the kidney level, at the blood level, heart level, fluids. So you can see you get kind of complex. And again, it's not meant to be complex. This is meant to actually clear up ideas and connect the dots. And so we're going to go a little further here into the Daily Disharmonies, which will make much more sense in understanding what I'm talking about. So let's move on. I believe this is where it starts making sense for people. So here we are with the Chinese medicine pattern of kidney yin deficiency with deficiency fire. So where it's at a much deeper level. Let's say the fire it's not just a little ember, but it's actually blazing a little bit. And you can see along with that are what we call the daily disharmonies. Now it would probably make much more sense. And dream disturbed sleep, for instance, not just nightmares, but frightmares. Poor memory, easily startled. But I even more than that, deeper, like here I have delirium, extreme anxiety, fright, and restlessness, bleeding gums. There's a term in Chinese medicine called bone steaming, where you just touch somebody and they're so hot, they're on fire. You almost fry an egg on their parts of their body, all their body, even on their arms. And it's because the yin, the cooling system, is so depleted that, or what we say deficient, that I don't want to say metabolic, but just the fire element is not in check. So that's the best way to look at it. And if you look underneath this term here, bone steaming, or one of the daily disharmonies, I have your knee, hip pain, or weakness. And what we say a lot of times, and just to cover all this, is somebody's just really dry. They're just dried up. And think of a leaf off a tree, like a sapling with a fresh little leaf, and it's, there's moisture in it, and there's fluid in the veins. Then think of a leaf in the fall that's dried up and crumbly and falls apart in your hand. That's what we're talking about, where it's dried up, but we want to bring back that internal hydration. And you can't just drink water. This is about how your body takes fluids and breaks it down and utilizes it through really all of the 5 internal organ systems. They all have to be working, and at least to some degree at a function ability that's going to take fluids and put it in its proper place. And so this is the complexity of Chinese medicine. So here's a picture I've been using, and there's a lot of things going on here. And using the tongue for diagnostics is just a major part of Chinese medicine. It's actually really kind of, for some people, it's everything, and for us, it is. So if we didn't even see this lady's face, the rest of her body, or anything else about her, we can just look at her tongue and see different factions of it, and be able to create a formula, or give her a proper formula, or I don't want to say guess, but sort of guesstimate on different things that she could have going on. Or someone could have this tongue and they're saying, yeah, I'm fine, I have nothing going on, but it doesn't mean that it's going to stay that way. So this lady definitely has a lot of heat, a lot of dampness. She has a lot of, it's a good mixed, complex tongue with different patterns. And to put it in order, you really have to understand the herbal formulas and how to put them together. So I just added to the list, which is good. So you can see that we go even further with kidney deficiency, with deficiency fire, which is, again, a Chinese medicine pattern. It's one of many, many patterns. And that's what we call them, Chinese medicine patterns. And so these are more daily disharmonies, and some of them are repeated, but still, it's good. Even looking at hot breath, dark urine, really dry bowel movement. Someone doesn't have a bowel movement for 2, 3, 4, 5 days, a week, and some people don't. And so we're really talking about internal dryness. And if there's internal dryness, there's internal heat. And so we need to rebalance those different elements. So I mentioned blood deficiency earlier, and that's an overall Chinese medicine pattern, because you have blood deficiency of different organs, but just saying blood deficiency, we say that all the time. As you see here, another Chinese medicine pattern with hip dysplasia, and I'm staying consistent, is blood deficiency. And if you could look at these are main parts of your body: the bone, ligaments, muscle, tendon, cartilage. And so giving let's just say a direct blood enhancing type formula could be the key to helping somebody out. So that's what we're looking at. But more importantly is that we're looking at how Chinese medicine looks at the body, creates an idea from what it's seeing, directly seeing. This is what's going on. This is, say, a ligament or muscle. Let's say somebody, let's just take a person, forget the hip dysplasia, who cannot put on muscle or strength. And or let's just say, not that they just can't put it on, like going to the gym, but they are so weak and tired and pale, and it's just that you can almost directly say they're blood deficient. And a lot of people are blood deficient. The cause to it, that's something else we can talk about at a different time. But just recognizing the blood deficiency problem and then giving the right formulas is the answer. And you can look at that. We're going to go into the Daily Disharmonies next, so that would be a better way to understand blood deficiency. One way to understand is just to see a pale tongue. Is this the greatest tongue for blood deficiency? Not really, but it's good enough. And I don't know if you can tell, and I don't know this person's true skin color, but they still look a little ashen, a little gray. And for me, this person, it's enough for me to say that they're blood deficient. I don't need to go real far into their daily disharmonies to understand that and to call it. So to go a little deeper into the Chinese medicine patterns, we can say, like I was saying earlier, tying blood deficiency to different organs. And here I'm tying it both to kidney and to liver, the kidney and liver organ systems. And many times you're giving a formula, you're actually working on both of those organ systems at the same time. And they're usually tied together. I don't say I always do, but a lot of times they are tied together. And you can find the same crossover daily disharmonies. So this is the 5-element breakdown, which is there's a lot going on here. But what we really need to look at is the connection between, if you look at the blue circle and the green circle. And the blue circle is the kidneys, and the green one, you can see the little LV there, is the liver. And so I look at those two organs. Well, of course, this is how I look at it, but they're the really depth of our bodies, like the density, especially the kidneys, but the liver too. And so that's why blood is so important as a dense building constructional factor of who we are. And so I'm just putting this up here really not to learn a lot, but to look at how they're connected. If one's deficient, the other's deficient, but the tie between those two organ systems. Don't want to get too deep into all this because it can drive people crazy. They can be overwhelmed, they get confused. But, I'm not saying don't learn this. Don't learn how all this works. Take it piece by piece. It's, how you eat a sandwich, one bite at a time. So take one little bite at a time, and hopefully we're getting a few bites in on this. So all I'm going to say here is look at this list and start associating blood deficiency, or here I have kidney blood deficiency, with this listing. The listing is the important part. And you don't need any special type of machine, or no, you need your eyes to read this and then to start understanding what is connected from one thing to the other. And that's really what it's all about. And that's what all of our videos are about. That's what our business is about. It's about demystifying, pulling down the veil, and getting you to see how your body works and how life works, and why you take the formulas instead of just, I don't know, I'm just going to take this, someone told me to take it. You need to know. I believe that, and so does my wife. And so, I'm going to pick a couple of these. Why not? So, somebody who's dizzy all the time, that could be blood deficiency. Okay, it doesn't matter why or how. Let's just say that, let's say there's not blood going to the heart or to the brain. I don't know. You can look at that if you want to, but that doesn't even matter. What matters is just tying those two together, and you're already millions of miles ahead of not knowing. Another one here I have is chronic slow healing ulcers and sores, or just any wounds, a cut. If you work in any type of business where you're cutting your hand, or you're scraping, or rash, or heat, like burning your hand, or you work as a cook, or anything like that. Constructions, run any type of machinery that you want strong blood to reheal, to bring the nutrient. And it isn't just the red blood cells, but the plasma that carries all the information to the healing, to the areas of your body, to fix things, pull away the damaged parts of your body, break it down, and bring in the new cells. And that's what the blood is. It's amazing when you start looking into it. But you can look at it right here. Just that's a really important connection to me, is the chronic slow healing ulcers and sores. I always ask people about that. Or someone who bruises very easily, and then that bruise doesn't go away for a month. That right there, we can look at digestion or blood deficiency problem. Take your time and look at this list. Again, the list goes on here, and maybe I pick out a couple. Dandruff, weak eyesight. Let's see if we can look at another one here. Constipation. Could be yin problem, but could also be blood. Blood is huge. Blood deficiency and blood strength is if we're looking at the 4 depths of our body in Chinese medicine methodology, that blood is the deepest level. And so we want strong, healthy blood. And we're going to introduce some blood formulas at the end. And so why not? Why would I not tell you the answer if this is, and how many people have all these types of problems? Poor mentation, poor appetite, heart palpitations, gum, teeth, mouth infections. A lot of people do. Skin, heat eruptions, infections. So easily tired. Just that. Forget the rest of them. If you just have that, you could take our Qi and blood power formula. So why would you not? And, and then maybe some of the rest of these things that a person might have. So I've been trying really hard not to just read off the slides, but I'm going to read this one. As you can see, Chinese medicine encompasses a super interconnection that does not and cannot just focus on a single health issue. That would be like adding nutrients to the soil to just reach one flower. And I think these are Shasta daisies. They're so beautiful. So think how dumb that is. And I'm not afraid to say that. So everything's interconnected. If you go back to those lists, you'll see that. And you'll understand. And it'll make sense. Every time I've ever been on the phone talking to a customer, talking to a friend, anyone, they go, oh my God, this all makes so much sense. I'm like, yeah, of course, that's why I do it. And I've been in all different types of medicine, and there's nothing that even comes close. It's the mapping of the body and the interconnections, and that were made in China. I mean, that's just the way it is. However you feel about it, that it doesn't matter. That this incredible information is for you, is for the world, and take advantage of it. So I have to add the liver organ system into this mix, because the liver is something that we probably 99% of the time help people with and give them liver organ health formulas. And so the reason I'm bringing it up here, though, is things that people would never ever connect to your liver, which is your digestive, well, maybe digestive with fats, but much more than that. Circulatory system. I have the kidney organ system, as I talked about earlier, a direct correlation. It's the mother, and the liver would be called the son or the daughter. But we go even further than that with the circulatory. Well, I said circulatory, but the neural system also. So this is all about the hips, right? But this is about your health. If your overall health is robust, don't you think your hips is going to follow along, or is it just going to fall behind? So when you're healthy in all different aspects, let's say you strengthen your blood. Let's say you came into this and someone said you have a 2 out of 5 level blood health, and we bring your blood health to a 4 and 4.5 or 5, 5-star blood strength, and get rid of almost all those other. Let's say you have all those, not all of them, but a majority on some of the list of the Daily Disharmonies based on blood deficiency. Let's say we get those up to a really great number, in a good way, that we take things away. Then wouldn't you think that your hips or other parts of your body are going to go along with it? Your memory, your endurance, your skin, tone and health and healing, your sleeping, or your digestion or elimination process, or neural strength. And I mean strength, your neural ability to not have neurological problems that do come with age isn't going to be better? Of course it is. So let's go further with the liver here. So, and here it is again. So the liver organ system is so important, and I'm going to read this part. The ability to break down food and water with high precision to extract essential nutrients into blood. And here's a big one: hormonal fluids. Things you don't. No one ever thinks about the hormonal fluids. I do, and that's life. So why is that not stressed or being pushed out there? The importance of your, people say I'm unbalanced or imbalanced hormones or lower hormones only when that is occurring, later in life. But what if you were working on it way before you got to that point, your 40s or 50s or even 30s, for some people? And it doesn't matter. The number doesn't matter. Is that you want to have your organ systems working, like I said, at a high functional ability for all of the rest of your internal systems and internal infrastructure of your body to be healthy and strong. Is it going to be perfect, or, like I said, all 5-star? I don't know, maybe not. But can we bring it maybe up from a 2 to a 3 or 3.5 or 4.5, whatever, however you want to look at it? Yes, you can actually. So look at the importance of the liver organ system. It's amazing. And once you start understanding it, you go, wow, well, I better do something about my liver and not hurt it. So here I'm just reiterating everything that I went over before. I'll just let you read this slide, and we'll be moving on. So here we have the a fair list of Daily Disharmonies, again based on a out of balance liver organ system. If you notice, we're not just saying the liver, but it's a whole system. Because if you look at it, it goes all the way from digestion problems to energy to emotion to menstrual, for women, menstrual cycle irregularities. And I mean like everywhere. You can reconnect it to the liver organ system, rebalance it, and put the menstrual problems back in order. It's phenomenal, and nobody knows about it. So, and even here I'm having, going over joint, circulatory, or neural health system. So that's a mouthful. I mean, that is the major internal workings, our inner, you say, rivers and tributaries of our body. And it's connected to the liver? Yes. So that shows the importance of the liver, why we want to keep it healthy, and why we want to keep it regulated and balanced. So again, take your time, please, and look over this list. Well, it looks like I kind of got ahead of myself, but that's okay. This is just reinforcing what I was saying earlier, that we just don't talk about an organ like some people might do, but we talk about a complete internal organ system, and that being 5 separate organ systems that, in a sense, you could say each one of them is 20%, and as we add it up, that's 100% that covers our body. So in one way or another, something or some ailment or some Chinese medicine pattern or some daily disharmony is going to fall into somewhere one of the 5 internal organ systems. And that's the whole point of it, is like dry eyes. It's going to fall in there somewhere. Maybe it's liver yin deficiency that's causing the dry eye. So it falls under the liver, and it's not just the liver, but it's under its system that has a lot of many different aspects of it that connect to it. So that's what this slide is about. And really just talking about the interconnectedness of our bodies once again. But we're going to go further and talk about the kidney organ system, and then we're going to get into some of the herbal formulas. And again, I think it's important for you to take the time, pause this, and just read a little bit about the kidney organ system, which is so important, so directly related to hip dysplasia and many other you could say, again, daily disharmonies, or let's just say more of the internal system of the kidney, which here I have listed in red as the brain tissue, blood, marrow. So people don't even think about that. Your bone is actually your blood building organ. Did you know that? Did you know that inside your bones is marrow, and marrow makes white and red blood cells? So people forget that, or they don't even know. So it's like, And in Chinese medicine, not just in Chinese medicine, but the bones are connected to your kidneys. So healthy, and we are always talking about the kidney organ system, and like I was saying, and the liver. Always kidney formulas and liver formulas for everybody. So it's just something that's just common. It's a weak area for the human race, and we're always somewhere or another bringing the kidney or liver formulas into some type of a program for a person. Is it with everybody? I can almost say yes. But if it's not for you, if you're one of the lucky ones, then I'd like to know about you. But for the most part, there is a weakness or a need for formulas that are affecting both the liver and the kidney. But the kidney, big time, and in the kidney directed to hip dysplasia, absolutely 100%. So, but you could look at teeth, bones, so kind of the harder infrastructure of our body versus the liver, which is the neural, circulatory, tendon, ligament, and blood, and blood here too, but blood where it's being made within the marrow, but spinal fluid. And I do have a brain tissue. So your brain is directly connected to your kidneys. You could kind of think of the kidney as the root, and the brain is like the flower or the top or the canopy of the tree. Take your time, please, and read this. So I'm going to thank you at the end, but I'm going to thank you right now. If you made it this far, you deserve something. You deserve some type of certificate or a big hug or just a big warm thank you from us at Heaven and Earth, because we really, really love what we do. We love bringing this information forward. I'm doing my very best, and so is my wife, to be able to explain this and do these videos. And we'll get, and I'm not, I'm not being defensive, but we'll get better at it. And I think, or maybe we're great at it already, but we enjoy it. I hope it sounds like we enjoy it, and we want to, extend ourselves out to you if you need any help, to contact us if you want to talk about formulas or problems. And here's the thing, it's free. I mean, big deal. And you're getting a different opinion. And if you're new to Chinese medicine, man, this could be just an incredible eye-opener to just connections that you would never, ever find anywhere else. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. and I'm not afraid to say it, and I'm happy to say it. And so again, thank you for making it this far, and let's just move on to the formulas. So we're going to look at a bunch of different formulas. We have many more. You can go to our website, which is ChineseHerbsForYou.com. I always think it's funny when people say, you're just trying to sell something. Well, yeah, of course. We're trying to help you. We're trying to bring answers to where there's questions. We're giving information. We're not just saying, hey, here, buy this. It's like, look into it. Do your own studying. Become your own doctor. Research. We're just helping along. And you want to try something, try it. So why would we not want to bring an answer to a question? That's when I worked at a certain place. Actually, I worked as a paramedic. And when I was in the fire department, we'd have people come and whine and complain, and we had a new rule. Don't bring the problem if you don't bring the answer along with it. Boy, did things change. And I always think about that with this is, of course we're going to give you the answer. Why would you not want it? That's just ridiculous. So no one's making you do anything, but we're showing you not just to buy something, but why? Why? How is your body working? Why do I feel this way? What's wrong? I mean, that's invaluable. So yeah, I'm going to put, the links below and all that, but so what? But you can talk to us, you can contact us, and leave comments. And if you have any health issues or just any questions, put in the comment if you want to just do it that way, and we'll answer you. Onward. So I just did the narrative on this formula, and then we lost power. Like you would know that, but we're in Washington State, and we're having these crazy rainstorm and thunder and hail, which is amazing. I absolutely love it. But that's another story. So I'm going over this again, and over this formula, and what I was saying, let's see if I can remember, is that this is, as I have here, the main kidney hip formula, but it's so much more. And what I mentioned was that I take this formula all the time, and the way I explain it is that it's, if you think of bricks and mortar, you have to have mortar to hold the bricks together, or it's a wall that would just fall down. This is like the mortar between the bricks. This works on a cellular level that I can feel. It's absolutely amazing. It's like a fortifying formula, fortitude of power and strength, and it's, to me, the deepest level of a formula, or one of them, probably, but I would almost say this is, of life for anti-aging, of life strength, of longevity, and super health. So this is one of the top 5 organs, I'm sorry. But it is one of the organs, but one of the top 5 formulas that I would ever, like if someone said you only have 5, this would be probably the top one. But the other thing I was suggesting was if you have a weak digestion or digestion problems, that if you take this formula, that you're going to want to take something to enhance your digestion, like our liver, a formula that's, I believe I have listed and coming up, or something to that effect, 6 gentlemen, to enhance digestion, immune and energy enhancement, even blood and chi power is, when we talk about chi power, is our digestion. And if you really took the water of life, the blood and chi power formula, that would be the perfect, I mean, that's something I give people all the time, and you're hitting everything. It's like the super combination, the super kind of a mixture that's, like I was talking about, blood deficiency, insufficiency, and digestion. I mean, you're hitting it, so that would be a wonderful combination to consider. Again, get a hold of us if you want any help, but let's move on to the next formula. And as before mentioned, here's the blood and chi power. Again, one of the top formulas. If I had 5, this would be the other, number 2, because you could just take those 2 formulas, the water of life and the blood and chi, and man, oh man, you've covered a lot. And again, if you could look at the list, this works on deep levels of our bodies, of our existence, and even just fatigued, very tired, premenstrual problems, numbness, tremors of the limbs. And so all this, believe it or not, you do believe it, and that down here, weak body, thin, weak bones, connects to your hips. So these are direct and indirect connecting formulas for hip dysplasia, depending on who you are. So you can't just say, I have hip dysplasia, what do I do? It's like you need to look at these different formulas and look at these different listings and go, wow, that's me. Look at this one, dry skin or hair. What if you have that? It's like, wait a second. What does that have to do with the hips? Everything. That's a direct connection, as I talked about earlier. So go back and listen to what I talked about in the earlier slides, and going over blood deficiency, and then come back and look at this formula. So now we're going a little deeper into Chinese medicine, and we're looking at fire that may be in the upper part of the body. And so we want to cool that down and regulate it. So think of being in a room and it's summer, or I don't know, any room. Let's say just a room and the heat's turned up to 95, and you're just like, oh man, how am I going to work here? I'm going to work here for like all day, 8 hours? There's no way. You want to turn it down at like 72 degrees or 68 or whatever. And so think that's your body at 95 or 98, overheated. We want to bring that heat down. So that's what this formula is about. In fact, we're actually going to take heart and stomach off of there, because this really is just an upper fire that's raising up, and we want to bring it down. Now, the other thing that's amazing about these formulas is that it doesn't just bring the fire down, it also builds constructional building herbs from within. And if you look on this one at the bottom, one of the the second to the last ingredient is shengdi. Well, that's in the water of life that I talked about earlier. So this is Chinese herbal medicine is totally different than anything else in its combination and ideas of multitasking. So this is a very, very popular formula. This is like the last formula, but this is when there's heat in the lower part of your body, which it says right up above here. So this is another formula we sell all the time. And you can see, even if it's in the upper part of your body, like I have your flu, mumps, and heat, it'll bring it down. So that's the idea, drain the fire. Think of fire as like a liquid, like water, and you put it in a tube and you drain it down and out. So one of the ways that you drain the fire is through urine and well, just different ways, but you move it and clean it and clear it out. So this is something that that people use a lot for. If you look at the last listing here, urinary tract infections, UTI, but this could be fire in the blood, fire really anywhere, and pulling it and draining it and taking it down. So this is our version of a very famous formula, but we create our own versions that are updated for the common era, and I'm sorry, the common person in the current era. And so we've updated formulas for right now. So that's the difference with our formulas and with our company, is that we have the ability to do that. So we create all these formulas. And what I mean create is like we create it, we put it together on paper, and then we put it together and send it to you fresh and potent. So that's who we are. So I didn't mention this earlier. This is a great, again, one of the top 5. This would be in that top 5 also. So this would be, we'll say number, whatever, it doesn't matter. But one of the top 5 is this formula, which is a liver regulating with the spleen harmonizing formula, which means it's balancing 2 major organ systems together that can be out of harmony and cause many, many, many problems. This list, I don't have the longer list, but this list can go on forever with liver and spleen problems. But these are pretty major daily disharmonies here, and it does have a really great effect on helping digestion with the gallbladder, with the liver, with your stomach, with your spleen. So these organs, and then that has an effect on the rest of your organ system. So this is kind of the hub, the center hub of having this all in order, from circulatory, like I said earlier with the liver, neural, to digestion, and to relaxing and regulating and timing. So that your liver is directly related, and I have your regular menstrual patterns. You could say it's the clock. It's your timing clock inside your body. And so, I mean, I could go on forever, and so can many people who get into Chinese medicine go, oh, the liver. And so it's such an important organ to have. And it's one that's easily abused, and it's one that's, I don't want to say easily put back together, but it really responds well. It does very, very well. And we give formulas like this to dogs too. All the ones that you've seen we have a line of formulas that are the same ones for dogs because they do so well and they have the same exact problems. So that's really it on the formulas that I wanted to discuss for the hip dysplasia. And we have a long, long list of other formulas um, for the gallbladder directly, for immune, for colds and flus. They're just phenomenal, like our Yin Chow Plus. And we have ones for dizziness, for liver wind. So you can really, ones for sleeping and for pain with the menstrual cycle. That's just, I mean, it's life-changing. And so you can go to our ChineseHerbsForYou.com and look at those formulas. You can contact us. So we really mean it. I mean, and you can even get a consultation. We're offering one currently. So that's current as this, it may change. But I'm pretty sure if you call us and you saw this and you said, hey, I saw this, I want you to help me out, I want the free, and we're not going to say, we're going to do it. So we may do it the rest of our lives. But we want to thank you for watching and keep in touch. And let's go to the next slide. So once again, this has been a Chinese medicine lecture on hip dysplasia. And my name is David Akrish, co-founder of Heaven and Earth Chinese Medicine Healing Center. Here's all of our information. Just like everybody else on YouTube, we ask you to like, share, subscribe, hit notification bell. We don't ask you just to send us money for just being there. We actually give you something in return. Yes, I know. Does that sound funny or what? No, I don't care. I'm just being honest. We actually give you something back, a whole lot. So we want you to have the formulas. So we are trying to do a little bit of selling here, but we're doing a whole lot of educating. We're going to come up with, I already have them done, to be honest, a whole bunch of other videos. And they're going to be endless, so it's going to keep going on and on and on. And we want to hear from you. We want comments. If you have something you want us to talk about, and it's something that I think is really going to be important and would help a lot of people, we'll do a whole series like this, a tutorial. If it's something I can just help you directly with, I'll contact you. We have one coming up on skin, on severe skin problems, which again, I won't let the cat out of the bag, but I'll tell you the names. It's for rosacea, lupus, eczema, psoriasis, so dermatitis. And the Chinese medicine, imagine that, point of view, how we see it. And how we see it is, we see it very clearly, and we understand why it's happening. So don't be fooled when someone says, oh, there's no answer, there's no help, oh, we don't know, it just happens. That's kind of a load of what. So I'm not going to hold back on that I used to hold back on before, and I'm going to give it to you how I really feel, and you probably like it because most people do. We don't sugarcoat, but we do help people. We have heart and compassion, and we work very hard at putting these formulas together and bringing the word out about this amazing, amazing knowledge that's for everybody. Okay, it's for everybody. It's for everybody to understand and to gain from and to have a wonderful life. And I can tell you that we've helped tens of thousands of people with formulas, and we'll continue to. We've been in business since 2000, and I've been involved in this for actually close to 5 decades. And so I just hope you enjoyed all this, and stay in touch, and we'll be sending out our next video really soon. Thank you.